What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. One of you was asking me to react to this video, which is Finishing Workout, Layups and Floaters by Harlan Khalil. Haven't seen them before. Go like and subscribe. Always support the channels we react to. Let's get into it. Oh, it's a whole... We'll turn it down because there's no talking, and I can just talk over it. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the best ways to warm up when you're in a routine. Got to do some either physical activation, like movement, or I think hand-eye coordination, ball handling, something like that. First 5 minutes to get loose, and then get into it. So, you know how I feel about the warm-up drill. I don't get into it too much. Hold on. He called them Mike Ins. This is the new generation. They don't know George Mikan, unless he's changing it on purpose. Unless he's calling it Mike Ins because it's play with different heights. Mikan drill, I always think is one of the best drills, but for different reasons. So there's a lot of trainers that will tell you, don't do old school drills. And they'll be like, you need to do crazy stuff. You need to do all this other stuff. Mikan drills are really good for a specific reason. For one, strength and conditioning. There's a lot of strength and conditioning stuff that is like tailored specifically to basketball. One thing that is weird for basketball players is just getting stronger in the weight room, just bench pressing, just doing curls is not necessarily going to make you better by itself. It needs to be active, or it needs to be functional strength. So I do think strength, moving metal, is one of the most important things. The stronger you are, the better. But you also need this type of conditioning around it. Doing the Mikan drill where you keep your hands up the whole time and finish, especially if you can do it without really moving, is really good for strength and conditioning of your like upper body, for your shoulders and stuff. But it's really good for coordination, especially working on your right hand touch, your left hand touch. You can do spins, you can go swishes. There was a guy, Sadiel Rojas. I don't know if any of you remember him. He played in the EuroLeague for a bit, I'm pretty sure, but I played against him in college. And he was, I saw him warming up before a game, and he would shoot it and then jump up and catch it through the net and do the Mikan drill that way. Jump up and catch it each time. So he would never be in contact with the floor and the ball at the same time. And I saw that first time I tried it. I was like, oh, I can't do that with the left. I could always do Mikan drill, but I couldn't jump into it. But when I saw him do it, I was like, okay, you can always add difficulty to simple drills. And then once you master that, you don't need to jump over chairs. You just go on to the next thing and use it as like a daily vitamins thing. Just do it as like a warm up. So I despise the Mikan drill when it's done like this. For a warm-up, it's fine. I'm not going to get too critical. But like bringing it down below your waist, I just think these are bad habits altogether. So if you can create those mental habits, like just keep it high. And again, I know Peter Danilev will say you don't need to keep the ball high, but you do. If you're playing any competitive basketball, you do. But again, I don't like nitpicking on people doing these individual workouts like this, because the most important thing is you get into the gym, you get a little routine going, you get the ball in your hands, you get some shots up. I think all these are great. I don't like nitpicking these. I nitpick when people say they're elite pro master NBA trainers and they train somebody, and I'm like, this is okay. This is Mike James. Mike James did these, and he was saying because these are the type of shots he gets in a game. So I like these also for a warm-up. Whatever types of shots you're going to be getting in a game, just you can warm up with those, get your touch going. These are good. Skip ahead a bit. Get you some free throws. Again, I think be very deliberate with your free throws. People always say like, man, I'm in a slump, or, you know, I make my free throws in practice, but not in a game. When you're doing your free throws in between a drill, it should have purpose. Most people... We saw this in a drill the other day with OTE, actually. They're like, oh, keep going until you make it, and then we'll move on. You never get to do that. Mentally, you got to prepare yourself for a game, right? In a game, you might get fouled. You get an and one. You get one free throw. You get to go to the line, shoot one free throw. Most players aren't high volume scorers, so you're going to get 2 to 5 free throws a game. So when you're practicing, don't shoot 15 free throws in a row. I was a scorer that shot a lot of free throws. So I would use my first free throw, my first couple free throws, just to like get my eye in. I almost always missed my first free throw, but I knew I was going to get 10 to 12 more free throws. And then I would hit 10 in a row. I think if you're a person that doesn't get a lot of free throws, you need to practice like that. So when you do your free throws in between drills, just tell yourself like you got 1 free throw, make or miss. You got 3 free throws because you got fouled on a 3, make or miss. You just get 3 shots or 2 free throws, have some purpose. Again, I don't know what he did, but just pointing that out. Let's just look at the footwork here. Again, little habits I think are super, super important. This is, again, not a knock on him. So far what I've seen, this is great. Little habits. No need to go out of bounds, ever. You'll know I'm really pedantic and I'm really detailed oriented. If we're practicing something, practice it. We should always know where we're at on the court. Don't go out of bounds. Then a big negative step. So he goes negative step into an onside step, which takes, and then he replaces that forward step with a dig step and then really does his work with the crossover step. So he's taking 2 back effectively. If none of that makes sense to you, just trust me, bro. He's taking 2 backwards steps. So all of his power comes from going backwards before he goes forwards. Okay. So if you're playing a good player and you take 2 steps backwards before you go forwards, even if you cross him, like they're going to get back in front of you. Anyways, 2 dribbles also to the basket. Wrong, what they call it, goofy footed layup, which is fine. I'm not saying don't shoot off your goofy foot, but if it takes you 2 dribbles for a goofy foot layup, we probably need to clean up a lot of this. So 1 dribble into a goofy foot layup, great. If you've got 2 dribbles, maybe just go off the proper foot, so then you can go up and under. You've got all your finishes. And then use the backboard. Highest percentage shot in basketball. Let's get to the backboard. Those are the things I would clean up. I like it though. He's got a nice touch. The one-hand pickup is tough. Goofy footed layups are tough. He's got a nice touch. Yeah, I could clean up a lot of his footwork just super quickly. He's definitely got skill. He can handle. Athletic, good touch. Just need to sharpen up some footwork. Sharpen up some habits. I like this though. I mean, I still like this. And this is what I talk about, right? This is what you need to do on your own. You need to go do this stuff on your own. So then when you go to a coach or then you go to a trainer, now there's a solid foundation. Like if I went and worked out with it, this is not the worst footwork I've seen or the worst handle I've seen or the worst. This would be so easy to clean up and just point out a couple things. And he would probably immediately just be like, oh yeah, I can do that. But you have to go do this stuff on your own. You got to build a solid foundation, build a base, so you know what questions to ask. This is good. I like this. Shoutouts, Khalil. All right, let's see this. The lights went out. Shot the lights out, Khalil. Float dribble, in and out. I think I've spoken about this before. That's not really an in and out, right? I learned this from, I used to do in and outs just like this. Learned this from Sadale Threat, actually. NBA, pretty sure he won a championship, played for the Lakers when Magic was out with the HIV thing. So he was the starting point guard for the Lakers. But he taught me when he was working me out, and he was like, nope, that in and out's not going to work. When you practice your in and out, I don't want it here, which is what my in and out normally is. He's like, you got to go as far as you can reach across your body. I want you to really sell it. And as I was practicing that, I noticed when I'd get into a game, it would end up here. But before I was practicing it here, and my in and out would be here. Again, I talk about it all the time, game slippage. Over exaggerate your moves. Again, he's got a nice touch. He's got a nice handle, like his movements are smooth. He's pretty explosive. He just needs a couple tweaks. He could really sharpen up his game. I'd like to see how he builds this up into shooting maybe, but this is all good. These are the angles you're going to get in a game. Practice your different layups, your different pickups. I really like this. Love seeing the young hoopers out there showing their work, getting the empty gym with no lights. This is really what it's about. So just trying to read that. Flow dribble in and out between the legs, Veer finish. Yeah, so if I could give Khalil some advice, practice doing all this. One dribble with all these moves. You need one dribble to score on one player. You need the second dribble to score on two players on the help side. So practice all your finishes and everything with one dribble getting all the way to the backboard, and use the backboard, highest percentage shot in basketball. But then once you get into your Veer finishes, Euro steps, jump stops, that's when you'll use two steps. But what you'll notice is, look, he's like chopping his feet to get his footwork into the right spot to do a Veer finish. You'll see it here. So he's like shortening his steps. But when you drive, what's our main goal when we drive? Full speed left, full speed right. This isn't full speed. Chopping your feet to get your footwork right. That's why I'm really big with being particular. Onside step, one dribble, you can get into your speed finish, your one-hand pickup. You can take another dribble and get into your jump stop. You can take another dribble, get into your Euro. You can do everything from onside step. When you go crossover step, or when you rely on your crossover step to get by the defender, you got to chop your feet just because of the distance, and to get the basketball in rhythm with your drive. I might put up a couple clips again of just me driving to the basket and showing. I don't necessarily mean you always have to drive with your onside step, but when you lab out your onside step over and over and you understand the pickup and the dribble, once you lab it out enough, you'll be able to get to that off of a crossover step, off of a crossover, into a crossover step, off of into a negative step. Whatever you do, your footwork will always be like, wait, it's my onside step that goes. That's what gets my crossover step going. You can always get into that one dribble pickup. So I might put up a couple clips just to show. You really have to imagine your defender is there. For the Veer step will feel very awkward and difficult. With Khalil, you also got to remember, pretend your defender is running hard. Otherwise they're pushing you out past the elbow, you know? So that's why it's got to be full speed. Once you get by your guy full speed, then the Veer step might come in because you've cut him off. But just a couple tips that I've learned along the way, because I was the same. All habits that I picked up overseas, getting locked up by professionals. I'm like, oh, I got to work on this. Got to add this to my game. Oh, I understand why that won't work now. See, again, the chopping the feet. Typically, the chopping of the feet is going to happen like on a pick and roll. Once you're like got downhill and you're waiting for the big to roll, waiting for a guy to lift, waiting for something to open up. I mean, I don't really have a lot of complaints with this. Anchor step between the legs, behind the back, Euro step. Oh. Again, just your angles. So this is what full speed will give us. The help defender, the gap defender is going to be around the elbow. So you haven't, like, no defense would be helping. There's no need to change direction because you're not going fast enough for your defender to have to go cut you off. You're not going fast enough for the help to sink over and dig down. 60% of their man and 100%, 60% of the help, 100% of their man. They're not even worried about this 60%. They're just going to stay with their man. Your drives have to be a lot more realistic, a lot quicker. That's what's going to bring the help. That's what's going to get this guy to come across. Again, he's doing this workout by himself, so I'm not knocking him. Trying to give some pointers to the young fella and to those of you watching. I'm trying to give 10% to this workout, but he's doing the other 90%. The hard part is getting into the gym, putting in the work, getting to your different spots, working up a sweat, getting your shots in. He's probably got another workout later on if he goes to UTEP. This is probably just an individual he's doing by himself. This is good. You got a little spin on the ball, I see. What you got now? Off pick and roll? Yeah, again, I mean, you're getting a lot of reps. I would say think about your workout here. This is probably taking 30, 40 minutes. We're probably 40 minutes into the workout. One thing I always tried to focus on was what reps can I do 100%, like full speed, even 110%? Can I go so fast that I lose the ball? Can I go so fast I almost lose the ball and I try to dunk it, even though I know I have no hope of dunking it because I'm trying to push myself, trying to get more in shape, trying to get more explosive. I would think, how many reps can I do? Okay, if I think I can do 10 before I need a break, well, maybe I do 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. So 10 altogether, and I get 10 reps. And I try to build it up. Next day, 12 reps. Next day, 13. Next day, 14. But he's done probably, I don't know, he's done a lot of reps. He's done about 60, 70 reps. So again, you're doing 60, 70 reps is going to be like touch and feel, which is good, but you're not getting explosiveness. You're not getting game-like stuff. So if you're not getting game-like stuff, that's when it needs to be detailed. We talked about this the other day too. Be as detailed as possible. If you just, look, I'm going to get in there, go about 60%, get my shots up, get some cardio. Now it needs to be detailed. Because again, you gotta sell everything, right? Is anyone falling for that in and out? Anyone falling for that in and out? And also we gotta think about how many dribbles. What's the key in EuroLeague when we're working off our pick and rolls, right? It's how quickly can you sprint to space? Like how quickly can you get to the top of the key? How quickly can you get from here to the decision box and put pressure on the big? Very rarely are you going to be, unless you're killing it from, if you're an extreme shooter and they're fighting over the top and going over the top, almost always players are just going to go under the screen or switch till you've proven you can really kill them from out here from the three. So if you're not doing that, you're just not going to get a lot of these opportunities to like snake off the ball screen and just put them in jail and slow down. So I just think there's more effective things to work on, but again, I'm being super pedantic. This is a really good workout. Working the other side the same way. Thanks for watching. Okay, awesome. I like that. Harlan Khalil. Well done, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go onto my other page, and I'm gonna subscribe. I really like this. It's similar to like Chris Gatlin's workouts, and Mike Harden did one. When you're training by yourself, like that's 80% of it. Get in the gym, get the ball in your hands. He was probably in there for about an hour. I don't know if he did any shooting or anything else. He's in there for about an hour. That's really good. You need to do this consistently 10 times for every one time you go to a trainer. I'm not even kidding. You need to do this way more often than you need a trainer or a coach. This is the main thing you need to do, and he's doing that. So this is great. I really appreciate this. Keep working. You guys go support. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you all in the next video.